funded by the Broadcasting Authority of Ireland with the television licence fee.
This is the Be Loud Glade, a series of experimental podcasts presenting views and opinions about the Irish contemporary poetry scene, from the vantage points of both page and stage, that is, from publishing and performance. Each program also includes a contemporary poem set to specially composed music. In this edition, we hear first from Amy Heron, the event coordinator of the Irish Writers' Centre, followed by the poem Threshold by Grace Wells, and voiced by Deirdre Malloy with music by Roger Gregg.
Poetry in Ireland has this legacy of being quite staid and just, for want of a better word, sometimes boring. But I don't think that's the case anymore. As I was saying, I think it is changing, and it is due to maybe wanting to change what went in the past, especially like this year being the year, revolution is on the tip of everyone's tongue and rebellion, and people are channeling that energy to almost throw things off course a little bit. I think it can be quite difficult in this day and age to move away from that formula of someone reading their work and it being quite austere and very reverential. But I do think there is almost a new generation of poets, maybe a movement, if you want to call it that, although that might be too heavy-handed a word for what's going on. But I think that there's, like, the spoken word scene has been really, really influential, I think, on this up-and-coming generation of poets. And I don't mean that they're 18 or 20, they could even be 34 or 38, even older. But I think that there is this, you can sense the blood in the veins again. There's also a lot of people writing poetry in journals and magazines, and I think that's starting conversations as well. I think poetry for a long time was put in the corner. And I think now it's trying to create a new identity for itself in some ways, and that's interesting to watch. But I think a lot of the younger poets and this sort of new scene, if you want, for want of a better word, is helping to change that. I think more and more writers, and poets included, have to, if you want the fame and the glory or even just a bit of cash from it, you have to hustle, you have to get out there, you have to graft. It's not an easy trade by any means. And part of it is getting on the performance circuit, going to festivals and getting out there. You can't just compose and live in your garret forever, Part of the programming role with the Writers' Centre is that you learn an awful lot from what's been done before, it goes without saying. And I think just attending a lot of events as well and seeing that reading can still be entertaining, and it often would depend on the writer and their comfortable, their sort of capacity for live performance. But I think what's happening now is that we're moving away from the tried and tested readings because people want more. Even if it's a free reading or even if it's a free event, they still want to feel like they've walked out of somewhere and have had some value exchange, that I really learned a lot, or wow, that performer's voice was amazing, although I didn't really like a lot of the content. But they walk away feeling that they've seen something new. But when you go to an event and maybe there's a reading element to it, or maybe it's a curated open mic, and you see someone that for whatever reason connects with you, whether it's content, whether it's delivery, whether it's the actual rhythm and the sounds that get you, but you want to walk away feeling like that your mind has been woken up, that something has stirred inside of you. It's not always easy to find, but I think more and more performers, writers and performers, are becoming conscious of that. They're moving away from the priest-like delivery of reading their verse. The sort of monotone. Even if it's quality poetry, you still lose the audience with this kind of delivery, in my experience. What interests me, though, from a behind-the-scenes kind of perspective, is when you see a poet come along with a friend or two, and you know that the friend or two is only in it for a free glass of wine, or they're going to go out afterwards, and this poet has brought them along. And then when you see the perception change on people's faces, either during a reading or afterwards, they come up to you at the end of the event and go, a lot of it really wasn't for me, but there was that one verse in that one poem, and you just think, okay, this is how a wave starts, it's ripples. So there is this interest in going to these events, and I don't think it's always the same people, which is refreshing.
Come home. Home to your wife and child, to the taste on the tongue of whatever it is you have planted, to your shelves lined with music, books, to the voice behind the bathroom door singing, to the washing up, not done, overdone, to someone yelling, the toilet roll just finished, the bin to be emptied, the Hoover bag changed, the needle on the record, to all you have created, made space for, allowed in. Say yes to it. Yes with despair, with disgust, with longing for another life, one you glimpsed today, one whose legs seem to go on for miles, one whose fitted kitchen was made of solid oak, one whose Mercedes was parked outside. Come home. Home with annoyance at the dust under the stairs, the ring round the bath, the stain in the cloth, the scar, the chip, the crack, the loose screw, the repairs to be done, to be ignored, the restoration which may or may not come. For all its abundance of crimes against you, with their commonwealth of treasure stored in this temple of condemnation and hope. For all that you have planted, kneel here at the threshold of your life and kiss the ground.
That was Grace Wells' poem Threshold, published by Daedalus Press, set to music and performed by Roger Gregg and voiced by Deirdre Malloy. Find out more about Grace Wells at daedaluspress.com and the Irish Writers Centre at irishwriterscentre.ie. Originally broadcast by RTE Lyric FM and funded by the Broadcasting Authority of Ireland, Roger Gregg's Be Loud Glade is a Dead Medium production with executive producer Gareth Stack.
You lot aren't ready for bingo. Just give me a sec.